Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the technical meeting of the Afmam for Students 2025. Please rename according to the format. We will begin shortly. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We are going to begin the technical meeting. And I see a familiar face. Hi, Mr. Kafka. Welcome back. So, to everyone else, I would like to ask to rename your username into the format that is informed by the comedy, which is your name and the school. So right now, I would like to begin the technical meeting. We will start with the our national anthem. Everyone, please properly seated. We're going to have the national anthem. Well, before we begin formally, I would like to remind again to rename your username with the name and your school. And we also have the background, just like Mr. Kafka has shown. Please turn on your camera and then use the background so that we can begin the technical meeting. Good evening, everyone. We're going to start now. We will begin the technical meeting. Okay, please wait. Okay, technical problem. We're going to start with the national anthem. Everyone else, please be seated properly. We will have the national anthem. And now we would like to have the national anthem. Everyone, please be seated. Thank you. And now we will begin with a prayer. Uh, prayer according to your religion. Prayer begins. Prayer ends. Thank you very much, everyone. I would like to welcome everybody in this event. of the technical meeting Afmam for Students 2025. This marks the second year of our Afmam for Students. We have successfully completed the Afmam 2024 with more than 261 participants joining the Afmam, and we narrowed them down into 10 countries and 3 ASECs, which means there are approximately 33 students. So as you can see, it's very competitive, where we have from 200 all the way into just um, 33. And okay, please wait. Um, in that AFMAM for Students 2024, we had all the 10 ASEAN member states. In this 2025, we aim for more because it seems that if possible, we would like to give the chance and opportunity to as many schools and students as possible. And therefore, this year, we not only just have the AFMAM for ASEAN member states, 10 countries, but we added with 8 dialogue partners. So in total, we have 18 schools that we are aiming for this year's AFMAM 2025. Hopefully, everyone in here that turn on the camera can be part of that delegation. So, we actually have the selection tests with 3. I'm sure you have checked the important dates. Yes. So we will begin with the selection test 1, which is the English, where you will be assessed based on your English proficiency test. During the selection test number 1, it is not mandatory to actually have a team. However, the ones that pass the selection test 1 will only be the ones with the team. Why? Because selection test number 2 will require you to do the test with a team. So therefore, we strongly encourage you to form a team of three friends in the same school to actually become one delegation. So that's for the selection test number 1, which will be held tomorrow. And then on the selection test number 2, it will be ASEAN knowledge. This ASEAN knowledge is based on 3 materials as stated in the important dates. So please be sure that you study from the guidebook, from what is stated in the ASEAN guidebook, as well as from what Mr. Christopher Grale, our trainer, will be explaining for tonight. I strongly encourage to take notes of what Mr. Christopher will be sharing because you can guarantee it will be in the test. And lastly, after we have got the test number 2, we announce for the teams that pass, we are looking at 18 teams times 2. So there will be 36 teams that will pass the selection test number 2. These 36 teams will be designated into the ASEAN member states and the 8 dialogue partners. So there will be Indonesia A, Indonesia B, there will be Russia A, Russia B, South Korea A, South Korea B. And you will be representing that country and you will be making the strategy paper. And of course, after you have submitted the strategy paper to us, comes the selection test number 3, which is the interview. In the interview, you will be interviewed by us. So we would like to see how well you can represent your country. So if the in the test number 1, it's just reading and listening, on the interview, it's speaking time. So it's about how you communicate your ideas, how you express them, and how you try to uh, elaborate how your country is going to strategize against all the top questions we're going to ask. And hopefully, once it is out, then comes all the preparation for the actual AFMAM. This year's AFMAM is more not just in the number of countries, but also uh, in the signing of the certificate. If last year's we had the privilege of the executive director of ASEAN Foundation to sign on your certificate, this year we also have another additional, which is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the MOFA will be signing your certificate as well if you pass all the selection tests. Okay. So without any further ado, it's now 7:39, and I'm sure Mr. Christopher Grale would like to share a lot of things to tell you what ASEAN is all about because even without the test, we are the ASEAN citizens. We are the ASEAN people. So let's find out what is ASEAN, what is Afmam, and then take notes so that you're ready for the test. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Christopher Grale. Give a round of applause to Christopher Grale, our trainer. The floor is yours, Mr. Christopher.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. Is my voice clear? Okay. Okay. Mr. E, can I request to share my presentation? Okay, so good evening, everyone. ASEAN students, welcome to the Afmam for Students technical meeting. And tonight I'm going to give a workshop about ASEAN 101. What is ASEAN? What is ASEAN Summit? And what is the East Asia Summit? And what are you going to do in this Afmam for Students program? So my name is Christopher from the Philippines, and I'm glad to guide you through the process of negotiation, diplomacy, which are involved in the AFMAM program. So I'm thrilled that you have joined us tonight for this wonderful platform to learn about ASEAN affairs and ASEAN diplomacy, which will provide you a fantastic platform to uh, learn how to become a representative of a certain country and how do you represent one country in in a regional level. So without further ado, I will discuss about uh, ASEAN and AFMAM and its rules of procedure. Yeah. Okay. Can I have the presentation to be share screen, sir? And before that, I would like to know what do you know about ASEAN? So can I have people to answer? You can raise your hands. Okay, Shafka?
Hello, can is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I have people to answer?
Hello everyone, my name is Kafka Surya and I'm from SMN Bakpuri Jakarta. And what is
You
ASEAN?
can raise your hands.
From my understanding, ASEAN is a coalition of countries
Okay,
between 10
Shafka?
countries. Hello? Yes. Can is my voice clear? Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Can I have people to answer?
Hello everyone, my name is Kafka Surya and I'm from SMN Bakpuri Jakarta. And what is
You
ASEAN?
can raise your hands.
from my understanding, ASEAN is a coalition of countries between 10 countries. Hello? Yes. The voice is
My voice clear?
bouncing back and forth. I'm sorry.
Yes. Can I have all to answer? Hello everyone, my name is Kafka Surya and I'm from SMA in Jakarta. And what is ASEAN? From my understanding, ASEAN is a coalition of countries between 10 countries. Hello?
Yes. The voice is
My voice clear?
bouncing back and forth. I'm sorry.
Yes. Can I have all to answer? Hello everyone, my name is Kafka Surya and I'm from SMA in Jakarta. And what is ASEAN? From my understanding, ASEAN is a coalition of countries between 10 countries. Hello?
Yes. The voice is
My voice clear?
Okay, technical problem because we apparently copied Kafka for so many times. So please wait, Mr. Kafka and Mr. Chris. Right, I think this is okay now, Mr. Christopher.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, now, yeah, same question. What do you know about ASEAN? Perhaps Kafka can answer again.
Hello. Is my voice clear, everyone? All right. Thank you for having me. My name is Kafka Surya. I am from SMA 42 Jakarta, and from my understanding and my knowledge, ASEAN is an association, it's an organization, and it's a coalition between 10 different countries in the Southeast Asia region, and that's what I know.
Very good. Can I have another hand? Who wants to answer the same question?
May I, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Alfredo Christopher Pincelo. I'm from SMA 81. From what I know, Asian is an association, a regional association based on Southeast Asia, and its main goal is to cooperate with Southeast Asian nations to produce growth on politics. That's what I know. Thanks.
Okay, great answer. Now, I would like to ask, who among you know where ASEAN Secretariat is located? Okay, perhaps Kafka again? Do you know where is the ASEAN Secretariat located? Anyone?
Is it the one in Indonesia? ASEAN Secretary in Indonesia?
Yes, correct. It's in
Uh,
Indonesia. But where in Indonesia?
it's near SMIN 6 Jakarta. It's also near Blok M.
Yeah, correct. So do you know uh the street? Where is it located?
Jalan, if I remember correctly, it's Sisingamangaraja. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's in Jalan Sisingamangaraja. Okay. So that's all for now. So I want to proceed with my presentation. Okay. So ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, is a regional organization that promotes economic, political, and cultural cooperation among its member states. So in ASEAN, we have 10 countries in Southeast Asia that are members of ASEAN. So uh, next slide, please. Okay, so it was established in August 8, 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. And yep, as I said, it includes 10 member states in Southeast Asia, and we have one observer, which is Timor-Leste. And also we have dialogue partners from outside the South Asia, like the USA, China, South Korea, Russia, and so on. So ASEAN ASEAN member states work together to enhance regional stability and prosperity here in Southeast Asia. So, one of the most important events in the annual diplomatic calendar of ASEAN is the ASEAN Summit. Does anyone of you know? Okay, so for those of you, you might remember that 2 years ago, in the year 2023, Indonesia hosted the ASEAN Summit. So, yeah, 2 years ago, all of the leaders from ASEAN countries and from ASEAN dialogue partners came here in Indonesia. So they visited Labuan Bajo and Jakarta for the different meetings of the ASEAN Summit. Provide those problems operations. So understanding why ASEAN Summit is important will help us understand as ASEAN students, ASEAN youth, to know why the decisions in a regional level are important, especially when it comes to the national level and also local level in each country. So just like how student organization meetings at school help decide new rules or events in our school, ASEAN Summit brings together leaders from different countries to make big decisions about different issues. So in 2015, uh, we had the ASEAN community established, and based on that, we created three pillars, and those are ASEAN Political Security Community Pillar, ASEAN Economic Community Pillar, and ASEAN Sociocultural Community Pillar. So those three pillars are important to tackle and to solve different issues in Southeast Asia. Next slide. And yeah, so for those who don't know yet, ASEAN is composed of 10 member states: Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and then over time it grew. So it includes 5 more countries: Brunei Darussalam, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. So now we have the 10 member states. So what led to the creation of ASEAN? So the founders wanted to promote peace, stability, and development in the Southeast Asian region, because in the past, during the Cold War, there were a lot of tensions and conflict, and they saw that they need to work together to create a harmonious and prosperous Southeast Asia, because if our region is harmonious and prosperous, each ASEAN member states will also be prosperous. So today, ASEAN continues to grow and adapt, and keeping the spirit of unity and progress for their generations, for our generations, and for also for the future generations, for uh, those who haven't born yet, like your children or your grandchildren. So, uh, as I said earlier, leaders of all the member states gather to discuss and solve the region's most pressing issues. So, at the end of the ASEAN Summit, it produced an outcome document. So, the document, it's called the Chairman Statement, and it's the official record of what the ASEAN member states leaders discussed during the meetings. So in the chairman's statement, you can see, if you have already seen one, you can see the details of what they have discussed and what they have decided, just like what are their decisions, what are their policies that they want to implement in the ASEAN region and in each ASEAN member states. Next. Okay, so now I want to discuss what is East Asia Summit. So East Asia Summit, it is the expanded version of the ASEAN Summit. So in ASEAN Summit, it's only exclusive for the 10 member states of ASEAN. But in East Asia Summit, it is a forum for the ASEAN member states and also the ASEAN dialogue partners, which are Australia, China, India, Japan, New Zealand, Republic of Korea, Russia, and United States. And there is also an observer, ASEAN observer, Timor-Leste, which still under the discussion whether they will become part of the ASEAN or not. So just like the ASEAN Summit, East Asia Summit is held annually. Immediately after the ASEAN Summit, ASEAN started being first. So the East Asia Summit is organized by the ASEAN, specifically the ASEAN Secretariat. So in the East Asia Summit, discussions cover regional security, energy, and other transnational challenges, not just in Southeast Asia, but in the whole East Asia or in the whole Indo-Pacific region. So again, in East Asia Summit, they have the outcome document, which is the chairman's statements, or sometimes it is just a declaration. Next slide, please. So now I want to discuss about Model ASEAN meeting. So what exactly is a Model ASEAN meeting? So Model ASEAN meeting is an initiative of the ASEAN Foundation and the ASEAN Secretariat, so that the ASEAN youth can know what is ASEAN, what is ASEAN Summit, and what really happens. So think of it as a role-playing game focused on diplomacy and international relations within the ASEAN region. So the the ASEAN Foundation Model ASEAN Meeting, or AFMAM, operates under the ASEAN Foundation umbrella. So the Model ASEAN Meeting is uh, is a role play program for us to know and to exactly understand how to become an ambassador, a diplomat, a representative of one to understand decision-making process, the roles and functions of us to promote regional friendship and develop skills in or make our hands dirty by being immersed in the real world challenges, like uh, tackling different problems in ASEAN, giving our ideas as a youth or as an ASEAN citizen. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the Model ASEAN meeting, there is a structure and a flow. So the Model ASEAN meeting process includes the opening ceremony of the ASEAN Summit. And then after the opening ceremony, you will have the sectoral senior official meetings, or the sectoral SOMs. So you will have 3 different sectoral SOMs because you have 3 pillars in ASEAN. As I mentioned earlier, the ASEAN Economic Community, ASEAN Political uh, ASEAN Political Security Council, and ASEAN Sociocultural Community. So in each of those pillars, you will have a different meeting which will happen at the same time. So you will have 3 sectoral SOMs, and then after the 3 sectoral SOMs, you will have the 3 sectoral ministerial meetings. So that will happen after the sectoral SOMs. And it is also just like the sectoral SOMs. It will be 3 meetings and it will happen at the same time. And after that, you will have the uh, ASEAN Community Council meeting, which will also happen at the same time. So you have the community council for each pillar. And then after that community council, you will have one coordinating council. So that one coordinating council meeting is the meeting in which the discussions happened in each pillar will be consolidated. So all of the decisions all of the decisions that were happened and all of the discussions and points that were discussed during each pillar will be merged, will be combined as one document, as one decision document. And then after that ASEAN Coordinating Council meeting, you will have the ASEAN Summit. And in that ASEAN Summit, the head of government, so in the simulation, you will have the head of government or the president of that country, and they will decide whether each text in that document will be passed or not. And after they have decided to pass those texts, then they will sign it, and they will have a handshake, and they will have a photo session. And that's, you can see when you search ASEAN Summit, you will see the leaders of ASEAN member states standing together, and they have their hands holding together, and that's called ASEAN handshake. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, Now, in this simulation, you will not simulate ASEAN Summit. Perhaps you will simulate what is happening in East Asia Summit. So, what is the difference between ASEAN Summit and East Asia Summit? So, most likely it's just the same, but the only difference is that because in East Asia Summit, it's not for ASEAN. So, it's not East Asia Summit doesn't have three pillars. So they don't it doesn't have APSC, AEC, ASCC. So in the flow, it is just the same with the ASEAN Summit, but the only difference is that uh, it will not have community council meetings. So in this uh, slide, you can see that the process will be sectoral SOMs and then arrow sectoral ministerials, and then you will proceed to the East Asia Summit Coordinating Council meeting, and then you will go to the East Asia Summit. So in the East Asia Summit, the leaders of ASEAN and the leaders of the dialogue partners will stand together and sign the documents that shows the decisions, the recommendations, and the solutions that they want to give and implement in the whole East Asia. And again, just like the ASEAN Summit, they will have the photo session, and then they will stand together, but also with the ASEAN handshake. Next slide, please. Okay, so maybe some of you have experience of joining MUN. Who among you have joined MUN? Can I see who among you already joined MUN moderations? Or maybe you joined debate debate competition in your school. Anyone? Okay. So here in this slide, I differentiate what is the difference between MAM and MUN. So in MUN, Model United Nations, it's also a program, a simulation program for students, but this simulation is the simulations of what is happening in the United Nations. So this is different in the sense that Model ASEAN meeting is focusing on ASEAN, which is regional, while the Model United Nations is focusing on the United Nations, which is a global organizations. So in their focus and scope, so Model ASEAN meeting focuses on simulating ASEAN meetings and diplomacy for the 10 ASEAN member states, while the MUN, it focuses on simulating meetings of the United Nations member countries, which, yeah, as I said, cover global issues. Next slide. Okay, so for the decision-making process, in MUN, we have the principle of majority rule. So it's like election, it's like voting. So if one candidate got the majority of the votes, that candidate will win. But in the Model ASEAN meeting, it is a consensus building. So what is a consensus building? Consensus building It means that the decision of each ASEAN member state, each leader must be respected. So in ASEAN, we have 10 members. So if there is a solution, all 10 leaders of ASEAN must decide and must agree. If 9 of them agreed, but there is one who doesn't agree, then this solution or this uh, uh, proposal will not be implemented. It will not be recorded in the chairman's statement, and it will not be implemented and accepted by the whole ASEAN. Because in ASEAN, we respect one another. So every nation, every uh, every voice of one country's leader is we value or we respect. Next slide. Okay, so in MAM, as I said earlier, I mentioned we have three council. We have ASEAN Political Security Council, ASEAN Economic Council, and ASEAN Sociocultural Council. And then we have the ASEAN Summit, which is the the uh, the grandest of all activities in ASEAN. So ASEAN Summit, if we are talking about the model United Nations, it is just like the General Assembly. So General Assembly, it is where different leaders of the United Nations gather and discuss about a certain issue. So it is just like ASEAN Summit. And then in UN, they have UN Security Council. But in ASEAN, we have the ASEAN Political Security Council. So in this council, they discuss more on about uh, politics, geopolitics, security, as well as cybersecurity. And in UN, we have Economic and Social Council, or we called ECOSOC. But in ASEAN, we have AEC, or ASEAN Economic Council. In ASEAN Economic Council, we tackle about everything, everything that relates to uh, to our economies, to our GDP, to economic growth, on how Indonesia or the Philippines or Thailand and the whole ASEAN will prosper and uh, will boom, especially in terms of economy, also maybe tourism, trade, and so on. And then in ASEAN, we have ASEAN Sociocultural Council, or ASCC. Here, we focus on people-to-people exchange. So this uh, this so it includes uh, discussing and talking about the health of the people, the jobs of the people, or the whether the as whether our youth or our children are in schools or not. So in ASEAN Social Cultural Council, we tackle and we solve issues related to people. So in Model United Nations, they have agencies just like World Health Organizations for health, and have United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, for education, science, and culture, and they have a United Nations Environment Program for the environment. But in ASEAN, all those topics will be covered by the ASEAN Sociocultural Council. Next slide. Okay, so here, now we will tackle about the delegation. So in MAM, we are going, we supposed to have like 8 delegates per country. So 1 head of government, 3 ministers. So there will be 1 minister per pillar, and then 3 senior officials, 1 senior official per pillar, and then 1 foreign minister. But it still depends on the organizer whether they will follow this standard. Last year, the Afmam for Students 2024 just had 1 minister, 1 senior official, and then 1 head of government. So it still depends. And there are also some universities and schools that, because they don't have much participants, they just reduce the number of the delegates. But in Model United Nations, per country, you just have 1 delegate. So there's only 1 leader, one delegate who will act like a leader or a president of a country. But in the Model ASEAN meeting, we have the different representatives, different delegates, head of government, minister, senior officials, and also foreign minister. Next slide. Okay, so this is very important because before you participate in the simulation, you need to prepare some documents. So that is like the prerequisite before you experience the simulation process. So in the Model United Nations, you have position paper, then working paper, and then at the end, you will have resolution. In Model ASEAN meeting, you will have to prepare position paper and a strategy paper before you join the simulation. And then during the simulation, you will have the draft chairman's statement, which will be the working document. So while all of you are undergoing a discussion, debate, you will have the draft chairman's statement. So the draft chairman's statement will be it will be handled and managed by the delegates who will act like the ASEAN Secretariat team. And then at the end of that, the ASEAN Secretariat team will consolidate all of those draft chairman's statement in each pillar, and then it will be combined into 1 chairman's statement, and that will be the outcome document for the summit, whether it is ASEAN Summit or East Asia Summit. Next slide. Okay, so for the Model ASEAN meeting, the conference facilitator is the ASEAN Secretariat. So besides from the delegates of each ASEAN member state and each ASEAN dialogue partner, there will also a delegation or a team that will represent the ASEAN Secretariat. So they will help the ASEAN chairman to facilitate the simulation. And then not like the Model United Nations, there is no meeting requirements, there is no speaking order. So during the simulations, if you have concerns, especially in terms of your assigned country, you can just raise your hand or raise your country's placard so that the chair will recognize you to speak. Then when the chair recognize you, then you can speak your concern or start the discussion on certain issue. And there is also an informal discussion in a Model ASEAN meeting, just like the unmoderated caucus in Model United Nations. So if you want to have the informal consultations, you can just ask the chairman to have the suspension of the meeting. So if you think there is tensions or disagreements between two or more delegates, then you can decide to let the ASEAN chair to suspend the meeting. Next slide. So Model ASEAN meeting is also not complicated. It is not complex compared to the Model United Nations, because in Model United Nations you have different points to say. It's like if you have one issue, you need to specify it to the chair before the chair recognizes you. Just like, for example, if you think the meeting uh, is very disorganized or some you can say to the dice of the MUN to have the point of order. Or if one delegate asks you a question, before you answer that, you need to say you want to have the right to reply. And if you have questions to the dais of MUN about the standards or the rules, then you should say point of parliamentary inquiry. But in Model ASEAN meeting, there's none. So you can just say whatever you want to say. If you have some concerns about the chair, about the delegates, or about yeah, if you want to go out, or like let's say you want to go to the toilet, no need to say some specific term. You can just raise your hand and say it to the chair. And then there is also no yielding. So because in Model ASEAN meeting, there is no uh, time limitation when you speak. So whether you want to speak for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's okay. Just unlike in Model United Nations, it's only limited to 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes. And also for voting, uh, it is not applicable in the Model ASEAN meeting. There is no procedural voting and substantive voting, because the only time that we vote in the Model ASEAN meeting is when we are discussing each text or each sentence or each paragraph in the draft chairman statement. Next slide. Okay, so again, this is the flow process of the MAM, especially this program, East Asia Summit Simulations. So we're going to have the East Asia Summit opening ceremony. Then there will be sectoral senior official meetings. So in this, as I said, there will be 3 meetings that will tackle 3 different issues under economic, sociocultural, and political security. Then after that, there are also another meeting, but this time it's called sectoral ministerial meeting. So same issues and then same number of meetings, still 3. The next is the community council meeting. So, okay, I think this should be excluded because there's no community council meeting. It should be coordinating council meeting. So in the coordinating council meeting, instead of the 3 pillars or 3 issues, it will just become one meeting for all of those 3 pillars or 3 issues. So instead of different 3 meetings, it will just become one meeting that will tackle the political security, economic, and also sociocultural. So in the coordinating council meeting, this can be represented by the foreign minister, or if there's no foreign minister, the minister. And then after that, there will be the closing ceremony. So in the closing ceremony, the outcome document, the chairman's statement that will be crafted after the coordinating council meeting will be reviewed by the head of government. So those of you who will be selected as the head of government of a certain country, you will need to review that document, and you need to decide whether each sentence, each paragraph is okay for your assigned country. If it's not okay for your assigned country, then just tell them that no, it's not okay for my country. My people, my constituent will not be happy for this. Maybe if you are a representative of Indonesia, you are the president of Indonesia, and you think that these solutions will not work in Indonesia, and just say it. Then for the ASEAN Summit, if all of you have decided for all of those points or text, then you can sign that document, then have a photo session. Next slide. Okay, so this one okay, so I will explain it more deeply. So ASEAN Summit, as I said, it has opening ceremony. So it is the first event of the summit. So the tone, the agenda, the issues or the things that you want to discuss, you can say it here. Government will need to have the speech, the opening speech. So if you are the head of government, then you need to prepare for your speech that you need to deliver in the opening ceremony. And then following the short speech in the event of for example, in this simulation, you will simulate East Asia Summit. So the dialogue partner of ASEAN will also present their speech after all 10 ASEAN states. So this time will be the member states first that will their speech, and then the partner. And after of the leaders or the head of governments deliver their own speech, then we will proceed to the ASEAN Sectoral Senior Official Meeting, or SOM. Next slide. Okay, so if you are the delegates that will represent the senior official of your assigned country, you need to know that uh, you need to uh, you need to kickstart the ASEAN decision making process. So before this, you, as I said, you need to submit position paper. And after you submit the position paper, the ASEAN Secretariat team will consolidate all of your position paper so you can have the draft chairman statement. And then from this time of SOM, each text or each paragraph in the draft chairman statement, you will analyze it and you will discuss it until a consensus is established for all of you. So if there is no uh, debate or no tension or misunderstanding, then you can pass that text or paragraph. But if there are like disputes or disagreements, then the chair can decide, or you as a delegate, you can tell the chair to elevate. This is the term, elevate the discussion of the text or paragraph to the next meeting. So you will not discuss it anymore here in the SOM, but in the next meeting. So for the East Asia Summit, yeah, just like in the ASEAN Summit, you will have 3 senior officials meeting, which will be under the 3 pillars of ASEAN. Next slide. And then if you still have the outstanding issues that could not be resolved during the senior official meetings, it will be resurfaced here, and then you can discuss it again here. So this is just like round 2 of discussion until you have decided to have consensus. All of you agree on this sentence, this proposal, then it can be submitted and it can be passed and be recorded in the draft, in the chairman's statement. But if still you have problems in this, in one specific word, sentence, or paragraph, if it's not agreeable to you as a leader or as a minister of your assigned country, then just say that you do not agree. Then for the others who agree, it is this is the time that you need to apply your diplomatic skills, because you need to convince, you need to persuade that the other delegates who disagreed with your, maybe it's your solutions, you need to persuade them to agree with you, to join with you, to make the that statement or that solution be part of the chairman's statement. So the objective of the sectoral ministerial meeting is to firm up the documents that in the senior official meetings, that the in the senior official meetings were not like were not established as consensus. Next slide. Okay, so this time in ASEAN Summit, we have ASEAN Community Council meeting. So in this meeting, it will also happen concurrently, and Okay, so in ASEAN Community Council meeting, there will be one foreign minister or maybe head of government of your assigned country will represent this and will talk about those decisions that have been decided during the SOM and the ministerial meeting. But in case of our program, since we are going to simulate East Asia Summit, we will not have the community council meeting. Next slide. And then we have the ASEAN Coordinating Council meeting. So as per Article 8 of the ASEAN Charter, the ASEAN Coordinating Council will be formed by ASEAN foreign ministers. You know, Papa Sugiono. So he is the foreign minister or the minister of foreign affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. So if you are, let's say, assigned as a minister of Indonesia, then you need to think that you are Bapak Sugiono. Next, so in ACC meeting, it will be carried out before the closing ceremony of the ASEAN Summit. So in this time, you need to coordinate of the ASEAN Community Councils or in East Asia Summit, the outcome of the SOMs and the ministerial meetings. And the objective of the ACC meeting is to prepare the final consolidated chairman's statement so that the head government will review it before they sign on it. And then this time there should be no decision making or dispute resolution process at this time because discussion, amendments, changes, debate should be happened during the SOM, senior official meetings, and ministerial meetings. So in this time, the minister will just decide if they agree with text number 1, text number 2, and so on. So you will only vote for yes or no. So for the East Asian Summit, since in East Asia Summit you have these coordinating council meetings, so you need to remember this meeting. Next slide. Okay, so for the closing ceremony of the ASEAN Summit, the head of government will do a final review of the chairman's statement, which had been prepared from the various prior meetings from SOMs, ministerial meetings, and coordinating council meetings. And should there be no objections from any of the member states, the chairman's statement would be adopted by consensus at the closing ceremony portion of the final MAM's summit. And thereafter, there will be a signing ceremony where all heads of government will sign the ASEAN chairman's statement. And then after that, you will have the photo session in which if you are the head of government, you will do the ASEAN handshake. Next slide. Okay, so now I would like to give you 15 minutes short break to digest everything you have learned in your brain, or perhaps if you have questions, you can think about it now. Then you can ask me after 15 minutes.
during the break. If you have any question, feel free to ask everyone, because I'm pretty sure that the topic or the content Mr. Christopher is something new, new information for all of us. So go ahead, raise your questions if you have any doubts or some topics that you need for clarification. You can write on the chat or you can also raise your hand. Oh, good. So we have a question from Adrian. Hi, Adrian from 45 High School. Hi, Adrian. So there's a question. What application will we be using for selection tests? So that's a good question. For the English, you will receive a link where you will be taken to a website. I cannot share it right now yet. So you will be doing the test there, reading and listening, as well as some written expressions, I think. Afterwards, for the selection number two, there's also another website, which okay, I cannot exactly tell you now because you're gonna browse and you're gonna hack it, and then you're gonna find the answers. So I cannot tell you right now yet, but there will be. Um, as for the interview, there is no application we will be using except for this Zoom, where you're gonna be put into breakout rooms, and we're going to interview what you know about the country that you are representing. So make sure you listen to what Mr. Christopher said. Make sure you know what is exactly SOM, what exactly is the EAS, the difference between them, and why is it so important to have a consensus? Why it has to be agreed. Make sure you know what it is. Okay, thank you. That's from Mr. Edian. I hope that answered the question. If you still need clarification or detailed information, go ahead and ask. I also would like to encourage us to ask more about the ASEAN, so that because when it comes to the Afmam and ASEAN, our trainer, Mr. Christopher from Philippines, would be the right guy to ask to. So go ahead, everyone. Make sure you know what to do. Oh, here we go. We have another question from Raka Zulti from 31 High School. Hi, Mr. Raka. So, good evening. I have a question. Hi, Mr. Raka. What are the most prevalent topics that we should focus on? That will be the question we should ask to Mr. Christopher. What are the most prevalent topics we should be focusing on? Mr. Christopher is still with us while taking a break. So, We will relay that to Mr. Christopher, and hopefully Mr. Christopher can explain that later on during the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Raka. The prevalent topics. Which one? The big topic of the Afmam or the three pillars? Because you remember there are three pillars, and every pillar would have a subtopic. So which one are you talking about? Ask Mr. Christopher about it. By the way, I received some comments in that my voice is not really clear. Can everybody hear my voice clearly, or do I need to speak a little bit louder? Okay, okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Ah, yes, thank you very much, Miss Violeta. Yes, thank you. So, any other questions you would like to ask? Do you really get what Mr. Christopher is saying? Like, it's so many information. Or is there any things that you need to, sir? Can you explain further about this part? Okay. Oh, thank you, Miss Gaida. Any things? Okay, I see reaction from Miss Petra. Yes, okay. Please do not be shy. Okay, listen, you sign up for Afmam. You should really know why you're signing up. This is not a place where I don't want to speak. I don't want to, I'm so afraid. That's not the right place to go. This is not the place where you want to do that. Because here you have to represent the country. And if you are representing a country, that means a lot of people are relying on you to say what they have to say. So please voice out what you think and what you want to ask. Do not just wait and see. No, don't. We are ASEAN. We should be making decisions. Oh, there's another one. So from 8th high school, Miss Naisila. Hi, Naisila. When do we do the Model ASEAN meeting? When we do the Model ASEAN meeting, do the chairs tell us again the procedure or the ASEAN 101? So are you saying that will the chair explain again what Mr. Christopher is saying? I certainly hope not, because there will be a lot of time to explain about that. But we can ask this question later on. And also, will we do both the ASEAN Summit and the East Asia Summit, not the EAS? Will we do the ASEAN Summit or the EAS, or just one? Okay, yeah. Good question. So we have three questions for Mr. Christopher. Hi, Mr. Christopher. The participants are asking quite a few questions. I hope they're ready for it. Thank you, Mr. Isila. Anyone else would like to ask a question? Oh, now we have from Zuriel Matthew. Hi, Zuriel. From Zuriel. Okay. Zuriel, this is from you need to tell us where you're from, Mr. Zuriel. Zuriel, I have a question. Is there any topic that we should avoid during the MAM? Is there any topic we should avoid? Some topics we should avoid. Is there? Or everything is good to go? Really? Okay. Like Thailand, Cambodia, can we talk about that? Okay, let's find out about that. Mr. Christopher, is it okay? Let's find out from Mr. Christopher. And from Nur Muhammad Putra, hi Mr. Nur Muhammad, we have the question, how should ASEAN create a binding regional framework for digital governance and data sovereignty that balances economic growth? Wow, this is cool. So apparently somebody has been doing some homework. Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Um, we will ask this to Mr. Christopher, and then we will see whether this is a part of the topic that we have in the topic as well as the subtopic within the pillars. Um, right. I think it's almost time for the break to finish. But feel free to ask in the chat if you would like to ask, or you can also raise your hand and we will address you if you would like to ask immediately here. Hang on, let me check. Is it time for the break, committee? Hi, Mr. Christopher, are you with us? I think we can start now. Right, so up to
Okay,
now,
sir.
hi, Mr. Christopher. So up to now, we actually have 4 questions. Okay, so the first question comes from Raka Zulti from 31 High School that asks, what are the most prevalent topics that we should focus on? That's from Mr. Raka Zulti, Mr. Christopher. And then number 2 is, when doing the MAM, will the chair be telling again about this ASEAN 101 or not? And then do we do both ASEAN Summit and the EAS or just one? And number 3, is there any topic in the MAM that we cannot talk? So we have to shh, like that. Okay, it's there. And lastly, number 4, this is from somebody that has been doing a homework apparently, from Mr. Nur Muhammad. How should ASEAN create a binding regional framework for digital governance and data sovereignty that balances economic growth, individual privacy, and cross-border cooperation? Maybe is this in the pillars, in one of the topics in the pillar, Mr. Christopher? Right. Back to you again, Mr. Christopher, and everyone else. Ready to take notes? Here we go. The floor is yours, Mr. Christopher.
Okay, so for the first questions, what are the most prevalent topics that we should focus on? So I want to know if you are talking about the selection process or during the simulations or even perhaps before the simulations. Okay, so but I will give you the topics that you should focus on depending on scenario. So first, if you are preparing for the selection process, you need to know everything under the sun about ASEAN. So you need to start studying about ASEAN, its history, its process, and if happening in Laos, what's happening in Singapore, and so on. So you need to be knowledgeable. You need to know everything. Not really everything, but you need to be at least have some knowledge about ASEAN. So next, for the preparation, if in let's say you have been accepted as delegates and you need to write position paper, of course you need to focus on the topics, on the issues that your assigned country needed to discuss on the regional level. So, for example, if you assigned as the delegate of Lao, Lao PDR, and of course, you should not talk about bodies of water because now PDR is a landlocked country, means there's no uh, bodies of water surrounding it. There's no seas or ocean around it. So you just need to focus on your country and your country's national interest. And yeah, it also depends on the pillar and also the role that you will be assigned. If you are assigned as the head of government, you need, of course, you should know uh, every issues under those 3 pillars. But if you're only senior official or a minister, then you can just uh, uh, prepare to know the topics that under your pillar or uh, yeah, under your pillar or under your country. And next, about the model ASEAN meeting chairs, if they are going to tell you about the procedure on the ASEAN 101, well, for the ASEAN chair, they will only tell you the rules and procedure for the simulations. So they will inform you what you should do, how you should behave, how you should speak during the simulation. But other than that, no more. So though they have assignments as chairs and also as secretariat of the ASEAN, but it will be different. It is just for them and not for all of you. So they just need to just inform you about the rules and procedure during the simulation. Next, is there any topics that we should avoid during the MAM? Well, in real life, in real summits, leaders sometimes avoid sensitive issues, or let's say those issues that are taboos in a certain ASEAN member states. Why? Because in ASEAN, we know that we have a consensus building. So we need to understand that in ASEAN, one issue and one solution must be decided by all ASEAN member states. So leaders avoid it. Why? Because they know that if they talk about it and one delegate from that certain country will not agree, then it will just be a waste of time. So instead of just discussing about it and waste time, they just avoid it and just talk about other topics that will be relevant. So in case you don't know, there are issues that are like being avoided by ASEAN leaders, such as the South China Sea issues, and perhaps now the topic about Cambodia and Thailand. So they will not talk about it because it will just be more intense during the discussion. So they will not talk about it. So they will talk about other issues like climate change, like education, and so on. Next, so how should ASEAN create a binding regional framework for digital governance and data sovereignty that balances economic growth, individual privacy, and cross-border cooperation? So actually, most frameworks in ASEAN is non-binding, meaning it is not mandatory to be implemented in all of ASEAN member states. Why? Because we have the ASEAN term called non-interference and respect for each ASEAN member state sovereignty. So even though we have discussion, we have meetings, and we have proposed solutions and recommendations at the end of the summit, but it's still non-binding. So it's still up to the ASEAN member states to whether they want to really be committed to uh, to solve the issues about that or not. So, for example, in talking about digital governance and data sovereignty, we can have frameworks for, let's say, Bitcoins, regulating Bitcoins, or having shared data cloud for the whole ASEAN. But, some countries will not agree because they know that if we will have like the shared data cloud, it will have like, cross-border data server. It means like it is not um, it is not for the sovereignty of their nation. So maybe some countries will want to implement, let's say let's say, a regulation against online scams, digital. Of course, are some countries that will not agree because they might think of it as against sovereignty. Okay, so I think I I hope I answered all of your questions. Okay, so there are another question. Okay. Before we do the model ASEAN, do we get prep or orientation on the procedure? So yes, I think you will still have one Zoom meeting for all the accepted delegation. Then there will be another meeting for the selected delegates that will represent the ASEAN Secretariat and the chairman or the chairperson. Okay, so are there any requirements that must be fulfilled when creating a position paper? Yes, there is a requirement, and I will discuss that during our delegation meeting. And the last question is there any tips on how to speak confidently as delegates so we can represent our country well during the simulation? I think the tips that I can give to you is to face your fears if speaking in public, speaking in front of other people is your fears, then you just need to uh, face it because I know I understand that some students are introvert. Actually, I am also introvert. I don't really like talking in front of the public because I feel nervous. I palpitate. My hands are always shaking when I am talking in front of a lot of people. But joining this program, it helps you to 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 start speaking confidently step by step. You will learn how to speak in front of other people and in front of a lot of people. And for now, maybe you can try practice speaking in English in front of yourself, in front of the mirror, and then during the simulation, try speaking English with your co-delegates. And then after this, just practice, not just speaking in English, but also uh, knowing how to talk with other people properly and with proper decorum. And if you want to be like ambassadors or diplomats, then you should also know how to how uh, the leaders of uh, ASEAN member states behave in front of other people. So this is the time that if you really want to be an ambassador or diplomat, this is the time that you need to uh, act. So you need to utilize this role play experience. And I think for the last question, this is from Mr. E.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. I will answer it directly in there. Go ahead, Mr. Chris.
Okay, so there is another question. What needs to be prepared to represent a country? So I will explain this more during the delegations meeting. But for you to represent a country, you really need to really understand the position of your assigned countries. Let's say you are originally from Indonesia. You have this religion, you have this language, you have this perception in life. But you need to represent another ASEAN member state, which is very different from your identity, then you need to know that country, their people's identity, the people's perception on how they view these issues. So it's like acting. So you really need to act like from that country. So if you're Indonesians, then you're assigned as a delegate from Myanmar, then think that you are from Myanmar and not from Indonesia. You need to do that. Okay, I think that's enough, and we can proceed to our presentation. Okay, so in Model ASEAN meeting, we have roles. We have different roles that we need to be represent in the simulation. So next slide. Okay, so for the delegations, we have the organizing committee and the national delegation. For the organizing committee, there is the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General. So actually in real life, they are the head of the ASEAN Secretariat. And then there is National Secretariat representative. So one representative per ASEAN member states. And then for the national delegation, there are head of governments, minister of community council meeting, minister of relevant sectoral meeting, and the senior official of relevant sectoral meetings. And then, yeah, so during the simulation program, each role in the national delegation will have their own meeting and will have their own role. So for General and Deputy Secretary General and the National Secretariat representative, we will not have that in this simulation because we will only simulate ASEAN leaders and ASEAN representative, not the uh, not those people behind the organizing committee. Next slide. Okay, so for the ASEAN Secretariat, the ASEAN Secretariat, or we called it ASEC, upholds the rules and procedures agreed upon and reflected in Article 11 of the ASEAN Charter. In the MAM, the organizing members will play the role of this organ, and also they will also have the chance to select participants to be the delegates for this. So I think in this simulation, there will be students, there will be students among you who will represent the ASEAN Secretariat. And then the responsibilities of the ASEAN Secretariat will prepare the academic content for the MAM, the documents. So they will collect the position paper of each member state, and then they will consolidate it to become the draft chairman's statement. So during the simulation, ASEAN Secretariat will sit uh, will sit uh, near the chairperson, or perhaps in the right side of the chairperson. And then, so what the ASEAN Secretariat delegate needs to do is to just use a laptop, document every discussion, and maybe share the collaborative document, maybe Google Docs, to all of the delegates. Next. Next slide. So we have the ASEAN National Secretariat. So you don't need to mind about the National Secretariat, but I would like you to know that in ASEAN, we have the ASEAN National Secretariat. So Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, and so on, they have their own national secretariat. So it's like the representative of each country to the ASEAN Secretariat. Next slide. Okay, ASEAN chairmanship. So for the ASEAN chairman or chairperson, it will be the one who will facilitate or moderate the simulation. So the nature of the ASEAN chairmanship is such that the country it represents and its delegation will function as the chair across the all of the simulations. And the ASEAN chairman needs to represent the rest of its national delegation and at the same time the regional association's interests. So as the regional association's chair, the ASEAN chairperson will need to facilitate the simulation. But also, if the ASEAN chairperson wants to speak as the delegate of his or her country, then he can also do that. Then, given this due representation, the chair must indicate if he or she is speaking in the capacity of chair or on behalf of his or her country. For example, if I am the chair, and actually the chair now is Malaysia, right? So if I am the chair, Malaysia, I need to facilitate the simulation. So I will say, uh, maybe if I call one of you, I can say, the delegate of Law PDR, you may now speak, and so on. But if I want to speak as the delegate of Malaysia, I need to say, the chair is now speaking as the delegate of Malaysia. And then after that, after my statement, I can go back again to the ASEAN chair. So the delegate of Malaysia will now be speaking as the delegate of, as the chair of ASEAN. So the chair has three key responsibilities during its term. First is to chair and facilitate the ASEAN meetings. Second, to be the spokesperson for ASEAN. And next is to define the agenda and propose initiatives to advance regional cooperation. Next slide. And in addition, you have the discretion over the proceedings of the meeting. So you will be responsible for calling on speakers or delegates to discuss the topic and the chairman's statement. So you will be the facilitator of the meetings to ensure that consensus on a certain issue is built through diplomacy, consensus, and as the ASEAN chairman, you have the following procedures that can be used during the meetings to further negotiate or resolve any disagreements or negotiation impasse or problems. Actually, for ASEAN chairman, if you are the ASEAN chairperson, you can suspend the meeting, mediation, retreat, and you have escalation. So I will explain each of these during the delegation meeting. Next slide. Okay, for the national delegations, delegates are responsible for representing the national interests of the member states that they are representing. So the ASEAN chairman is likewise represented by the national delegation holding the chairmanship. Uh,
Sorry, Chris, you're breaking up. Can you please repeat?
okay, what about, sir?
Hello, Mr. Christopher.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes, much better. Can you please repeat the last part that you were explaining on the SOS?
Okay, so for the national delegation, delegate vote for members of our state and ask is by the national
Still
decision
breaking
of
up, sir.
delegation.
Hi, Mr. Christopher. Please stand by, everyone. Mr. Christopher, can you please check for the sound again?
Am I audible now, sir?
Okay, now this is okay, actually. Yes. So, all right, can you
Okay.
please repeat that from the on the senior officials?
Okay, so now so in national delegation we have senior officials, minister, head of government. So in this simulation, I think you will have one head of government, one senior official, and one minister. Is that right, Mr. E? Okay. So for senior official, uh, you are the first one to partake in the simulation in the Model ASEAN meeting. So as the senior official, you need to meet to lay the necessary groundwork and agenda for discussion. You need to first represent your country's position on the issue and discuss the intricacies of the issues. So for this senior official meeting, as senior officials, you need to seek out areas of consensus, but also you need to still represent your country and promote your national interest. And as a senior official, if you find disputes or disagreements, then you can decide to elevate it in the next meeting. So you can have other topics to be discussed. And next is senior officials do not have the ability to change their national stance during negotiations. So, of course, as a representative of your country, you need to really internalize the position, the stance of your country. So, if your country is against this kind of solution, then you can say it all throughout the senior official meetings. And for the dialogue partner of ASEAN, especially in East Asia Summit, you will also have senior officials, and your senior officials must also uh, internalize and know the stance and position of that of your assigned country. Next slide. Next is the ministers. So the ministers in the sectoral ministerial meetings will follow up the discussions put forward from the senior officials. So uh, all uh, all unresolved issues or discussions during the senior official meetings will be discussed in this ministerial meeting. So as a core part of the policymaking process of ASEAN, the ministers can have more latitude in their negotiations with their ASEAN counterparts and can make policy decisions for their country because ministers really know the on the ground of a country. So you should know more about your country more than the senior officials because the senior officials are more the senior officials in real life are most likely uh maybe in the palace of your country they really don't know what's on the ground. But for the ministers, they sometimes go on the ground to know and observe what's really there. So you should know more. And then as yeah, same in the senior officials, ministers from the dialogue partners need to be will need to be represented in the East Asia Summit simulation. Next slide. And for this one, for the foreign minister will be represented in ASEAN Coordinating Council meeting. But in this simulation of East Asia Summit, the Coordinating Council meeting will be represented by one minister. So in case there is no assigned foreign minister in your national delegation, the minister will be the foreign minister. Next slide. And then the head of government. So you will be the lead delegate for your country. Whoever is the head of government among you, you are responsible for representing your team, your national delegation team during the simulation. You will have to present a speech at the beginning and at the ending of the simulation. As the head of government, of course, you need to know and aspirations of your country. You need to, of course, and to uh, your ideas, your solutions in the regional level. So, of course, you need to know your position and your stance and what will be good for your country. And as the head of government, you need to make sure your solution will the solution accept all government. Of course, your solution might be solutions for country. Your responsibility. So that's almost it.
Mr.
Next slide.
Christopher, yes. I think it's a little bit breaking up. If you could check again the voice, please, Mr. Christopher.
Oh. How about now, sir? Is my voice clear? Okay.
Okay, this one is good. Okay.
Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, there are 5 steps in the flow of process in MAM. First is research and preparation. Next is speeches. Next is negotiation. Next, resolution, and finally action. So for the research and preparation, you need to draft position papers and strategy papers. And for the speeches, the head of government will have their opening speeches at the opening ceremony. Next is negotiations. So this will happen during the senior official meetings, ministerial meetings, and coordinating council meetings. Resolutions will be a statement that will be reviewed by all head of governments. And then the action is the ASEAN Summit closing ceremony, and then the implementation of those declaration in each country. Next slide. Okay, so for the research and preparation, you need to have an understanding of ASEAN and its goals, the MAM process, the rules of procedure, and the process of drafting the chairman's statement. And you need to know the topical agenda that you will be engaging with during the MAM. So of course, you will be assigned in a certain country's role or position, and you need to prepare by researching your country and your role that you will be allocated with. Next. Next is for the position paper. So you have uh, you have to submit position paper before you undergo the simulation. So the position paper is a simple document detailing the country's policies on the topics being discussed in the respective meetings. So the position paper should be easy to write with extensive research to be conducted. It should be 1 to 1.5 pages in length, though there is no fixed structure on how it should be written, but I prefer you to uh, make it concise and short. So the ASEAN Secretariat team will find it easy to consolidate all of your position paper. So a good position paper should provide the readers with an understanding of your country's position and policies regarding certain issues, and it must suggest ideas, solutions, and proposal that your country can offer regarding the issue. So you have to present relevant government policies, laws, statistics, and facts to legitimize your position. So you really need to have researching skills. You need to use the internet or read some books to really know about the position of your assigned country. Next slide. Next is the strategy paper. So the strategy paper is only for your delegations or for your team consumption. So it can be 2 or 3 pages, and it should, okay, so the national delegation team can only have one strategy paper. So in the strategy paper, you will state how you will strategize. So for example, if you are from the Philippines, then if you have problems with China, then you need to think who will be your friends or your alliance. If you are the representative of Cambodia, then of course, since Cambodia and Thailand have issues, you need to think of Thailand as your enemy. And so you need to think of another country as your friends. So yeah, you need to think about that. Next slide. So for these speeches, so the working language of MAM shall be English, and delegates must be used third person personal pronouns. So in the speech, because it is a formal speech, you should avoid saying first person or second person. We, you, or if you want to speak your uh, your position, you can just say this delegate or this head of government believes that blah blah blah. Don't say I believe that blah blah blah, because it's too informal in the speech uh of uh head of governments or senior officials or ministers. And then in speech and unity of diplomacy. So if you are angry, even though you hate one another, you still need to show composure and you need to be, you should not say bad words. You should still be in your. So for you to have a good speech, you need to prepare, you need to practice, consider target audience. So uh, you need to think that you are speaking in front of other people and in front of your fellow delegates. Eliminate unnecessary filler words, use meaningful pauses, pace yourself, choose a powerful posture, project presence. So if you are acting like a diplomat, a representative of one country, then you need to project that you are like the minister or the president. Of course, your gesture must be proper. You need to connect with the audience, get to the point, and be direct to the point, and be positive all the time. So that's our the way on how you can have a good speech. Next slide. For negotiation, so we have the ASEAN way. So it is our guiding philosophy behind how ASEAN operates and how ASEAN member states interact with one another. So in negotiation, you should present your ideas and solutions, be part of the chairman's statement, and you can have the chance to discuss about the role of ASEAN, of NGOs, of other multilateral organizations that will be part of the issues in solving the issues. Next is encourage collaboration among member states by proposing ways that the delegates country would be willing to work with other member states. And yeah, you can reference what other delegates have said to show support for their points. If you are a representative of one country and you think this one country is like you or supporting your position, then you can be allied. You can be allies, and then you can uh, think of the solutions together. So yeah, as they said, two is better than one. So next is alternatively, delegates should voice disagreement if their country doesn't support what other delegate has mentioned. So in the real ASEAN summit, one ASEAN member states or one leader is open and transparent to their uh, position. So if their country doesn't want this, then they can say they disagree. And then they can propose their ideas, their solutions. And if other delegates disagree, they can they are free to say it. Next slide. And then for the chairman's statement in the resolutions. So the first draft of the chairman's statement is to be carried out by the ASEAN chairman and secretariat. And then this will happen after you submit your position paper, and then it will be consolidated by the ASEAN chairman and secretariat to be the draft chairman's statement, and it will be circulated to all of you delegates before the meetings begins. So you will have to review it, check whether whether each word, sentence, paragraph is agreeable to you or to your country's position. And if not, and then just mark it, write that you don't agree in this line or in this text. And then the draft chairman's statement will be enhanced from the senior official meetings, ministerial meetings, coordinating council meetings, up to the uh, review of the head of government. Next slide. And then for the action, you need to dress professionally and appropriately during the Model ASEAN meeting simulation. You can wear batik, you can wear formal attire. Think of what ASEAN leaders wear during formal occasions. So you need to uh, think that you will be like them. So you need to be formal. So just like being polite and having proper manners, dressing appropriately is an important way to show respect for the member states you are representing, for fellow delegates, and for ASEAN as a whole. At some meetings, delegates may wear their own national dress. However, most meetings will require lounge suit attire or uh, business casual. Next slide. Okay, so you need to know the ASEAN flag, the ASEAN emblem, and you need to memorize the ASEAN anthem. You can use YouTube to practice singing the ASEAN way or ASEAN anthem. And for the language, since the official and the language used in negotiation and discussion in ASEAN is English, so you need to learn how to speak English during the simulation. And it is essential for you to appreciate accurate terminology or words used during the simulation. And it is important for you to the wording, especially if English first language, uh, especially in the real summit, one word can have a different meaning. So you need to be specific. So changing one word can change the meaning of a whole text. So you also need to mind this. And it is helpful to read every word and consider the context and how sentences and paragraphs relate to each other. Because in the simulation, you will analyze each word, each uh, sentence, each clause, and each paragraph. So you need to be observant of the draft chairman statement. Next slide. And then for the negotiation, we have the ASEAN way, the guiding philosophy behind how ASEAN operates and how ASEAN member states interact with one another. So we have Mushawara, consultation, and Mufakat, consensus. And we also have uh, the the non-interference way of discussion. So in ASEAN, though we are concerned about the regional stability, the regional stuff about ASEAN, but we still respect the domestic issue of a certain country. So what is happening inside a country is none of the business of one ASEAN member state. But if we are talking about the ASEAN region as a whole, then we have a voice and we have to voice our concern. Next slide. And for the communication and active listening, effective communication and active listening are fundamental in negotiations. And during the simulations, you need to have effective communication and active listening, not just part of the negotiation, but also part of the participation process of you in this program. Because you need to be active during the simulation, you need to be participative, and you should articulate your positions clearly, ask clarifying questions to other delegates if you have questions, and actively listen to their perspectives delegation. So you should know how to understand and build rapport, especially if you want this solution, but most of the delegates do not agree with you, then you need to think how or what solution can you provide so that they will agree. So they will be happy and you will also be happy. And next slide. Okay, so that's the end of my presentations. I hope you have fun and you have learned a lot about ASEAN, Afmam, and Afmam amazing. Thank you very, very much. If you have some questions, you can still ask.
Right, a round of applause to Mr. Christopher. Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher, for sharing such insightful details about ASEAN. We have read the comments and feedback from the participants in the Google form. Thank you for giving us the feedback. We learned a lot, and we obviously have more questions actually. But I would like to open about, we still have what, 5 minutes, I think, before we end the technical meeting. Is there any other questions you would like to ask about the ASEAN, the AFMAM, and obviously what to do during the selection tests? Feel free to ask. We will try to help you whenever we can. Or if there is no question, is there any questions? No? No questions. I would like to share with you uh, some words from the Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation, Dr. PT Sri Sangnam. So if you would like, okay, if I can find it, okay, here we go. Yes, this is Dr. PT Sri Sangnam, and he would like to share some words of encouragement to us all. Um, Wait, let me try to play it. Play. Okay, here we go.
Hello everyone, my name is Piti Sisagnam. I'm the Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundations, and I am very delighted to greet all of you, especially the high school students and teachers here in Indonesia and across the ASEAN regions. The ASEAN Foundation Model ASEAN Meeting, or the Afmam, is a unique program that gives you the chance to experience diplomacy, negotiations, and collaborations, just like real ASEAN leader summits. In 2025, Afmam for Students bring an exciting theme, fostering inclusive and sustainable leadership in the face of regional and global challenges. This program is not just a simulation, it's a journey to build leadership, negotiations, and teamwork skill while preparing you to be part of a stronger and more united ASEAN community. This is not only about learning, but also about preparing yourself to become the next generations of ASEAN leaders who are inclusive, resilient, and future ready. I warmly invite all of you, students and schools, to join Afmam for Student 2025. Take these opportunities to challenge yourself, sharpen your communications and leadership skills, and most importantly, be part of the ASEAN community spirits. Don't miss it. Be part of Afmam 2025. Challenge yourself, and let's make voice count for ASEAN futures. See you at the Afmam 2025.
Right, that was from the Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation. Hopefully, you would be the AFMAM delegation. There will be 3 selections that we're gonna have. Every week, there will be a selection test until we reach the 3rd of October, where Mr. Christopher will be meeting us again to explain further what is exactly the position paper, the delegation meeting, as well as the chair and the ASEC meeting. So I hope that everyone here is enthusiastic. So, and thank you very much for still staying with us until 9:44. And if there is no more question, would like to say I would like to say that even though our technical meeting is over, you can still ask some questions with us in the WhatsApp group. And do remember again, tomorrow you must have a team, because to go to the next stage, which is the selection test number 2 on the knowledge of ASEAN, you need to be in a team. If you are not in a team, you will not be passing the test number 1. So please get a team within your school. And I think that's all for the meeting tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And before we leave, I would like to do 2 things. Number 1, photo session. So, hi, everyone. Please turn on your camera. And then we're going to take a photo session before we actually leave. I would like to ask for the committee to help us. Hi, committee, if you can help us to take a photo, please. The committee, can you help us to take a photo, please? Right. Okay, so I'm going to there are 3 screens on my laptop right now. So I would like to take the first photo on the first screen, okay? Put your best smiling face and ready for the photo session. And don't forget, this is in the YouTube, so your face will be there. So hi everyone, here we go on the first slide. So please wait, okay? Stay still. Here we go on my first screen. This is on my first screen. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's on the first screen. And then we will have on the next one. So slide number 2. Slide number 2. This on my screen. Okay, slide number 2. Here we go. And of course, we have the slide number 3. On the slide number 3, oh, there's still some people here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that wraps up for everything. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending the meeting. And I will see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we will be meeting again on this particular Zoom. So check out the link tree. And then if you already have filled in the Google form for the feedback tonight, you know that you will be in the Google Classroom. Everything about the selection test and the announcement will be in the Google Classroom. So see you in the Google Classroom. See you tomorrow. And I wish everyone the best. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Ian, Mr. Christopher.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mister.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. I mean, maybe tomorrow. Probably. See you, everyone.
Tomorrow we're gonna have the first test. Yay! Let's go, everybody.
Oh, wait. First test tomorrow? Really? Oh, man.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh.